welcome to my studio. Wanted to welcome you to another episode of my series, Jolly Gingerbread Man, Beyond the Junk Journal. And I'm using my new Jolly Gingerbread Man kit. I'll link that kit below so you can take a look at it. In the last episode, we made these cute little gingerbread house ornaments. I still haven't gone to get my maker's twine to hang this from. I need some in the colors of this, and that's one of the ones. And then this one I put together off of camera. It's just a little bit different, just in the way it's decorated, slightly different. So we're going to continue on with our ornament making, do another ornament today. The supplies for this video are in the drop down box below, so if you want to look at the supply list and gather before we get started, that would be great. We're going to start out with a piece of, you can either use cardstock. I'm just using craft card because it's what I have and it's convenient. A piece of background paper of your choosing. You could use some of the background paper from the kit, or this is just a piece of, random scrapbook paper I have. And I want to choose one of my images, and we're going to be working with this little gingerbread man here. So I'm going to trim him out. And just kind of go a little bit closer in, not all the way, because I don't, want to fussy cut once, not twice. I'm going to glue him here, or I guess what I'm first going to do, I'm just going to hold these papers together real quick, see how much of this I need. I'll probably just go ahead and glue a section of it together. My paper is not directional, it doesn't matter. I'm going to glue stick this paper to this card. To create a little bit of a stiffer background. And have that all prepared for all my pieces. And I'm going to work with this gingerbread, and I want to work with, I think, just a straight candy cane on this one. I'm not sure. I was trying to decide if I want, let me see, when he's running, do I want him to be running with the, let me audition candy canes and see. I don't really like this one because it's got, the gumdrops on it. It'll be either the straight one or the crooked one. Let's see if I can get a straight one out of here that doesn't have gumdrops on it. I have some already cut out. I've printed out a few of these kits and went ahead and did some of the fussy cutting. I don't know, something about, I think I just want the straight candy cane. So I'm going to work with one straight one. And since I've already got one cut here, oh, why did I throw that back? That was not very smart, was it? So I've already got one cut. I'll use that. I'm for sure going to use that. And I think I'll use, let me kind of play with the design for just a second. I think I'll use maybe some of the holly. I use the bigger holly. Oh, sorry about that. Airplane's flying low, and I have my studio door open because it's warmish today. And I don't want it to get too hot in here. And I may even use one of the little ornaments there. I'm totally not sure. I'm kind of making this one up as I go, so bear with me here for a second. And I might want a little ornament hanging from it. And I don't know, maybe even the small cookie. So those pieces assembled. There we go. Get rid of this. Ooh, my hands, they don't want to work today. Okay, those are the pieces that I'll glue on there. Now with him, you're going to want to go ahead and fussy cut him out. And by the magic of YouTube, ta-da, he's already cut out. So you're going to cut him out. These you don't really need to worry about. Turn your paper over. Make sure you leave enough room for him. We're not going to do anything with him right now. Just make sure you leave enough room. And then glue these down on the back side of this card. My paper is not directional, so it doesn't matter which way I glue down my little pieces here. I'm just going to glue these down and then fussy cut them out. And then once they're fussy cut, I will ink the edges of the front and back. Okay. And if you followed along on the other ornament tutorial, you're going to know that this assembly is going to be very similar to that one. So go ahead and you may already, if you've already followed along, you kind of know some of the steps. You know where we're going here. And I'm just going to put him in his little paper to the side. Like I said, I'm going to fussy cut these, and then I'm going to ink the edges. I'm going to do one on camera, then I'm going to pause and do the rest. I'm going to try to keep this video tight without too much interruption. Or length, I guess. I'm not talking about interruption. I don't know why I said interruption. But basically, all I'm going to do is cut this out. Then I'm going to ink down my edges to give it sort of that little vintagey look. And I like the back of things finished, so I went ahead and I'm going to go ahead and ink even on my back side. And so I'm going to pause here, cut these out, get everything inked. I'll be right back for the next step. Okay. All my little parts and pieces are cut out and inked. I've even inked my Gingerbread Man. Now I'm taking a piece of foam core. You can get this at the Dollar Tree for $1 for a pretty big sheet. And yeah, I'll probably just cut this piece in half. And I'm going to stack two of these together, and we're going to carve it just like we carved on the other ornament. I'm going to be carving this out. And I'm just going to put a little bit of tape to hold these two together. And I want to make sure this is the flat end. I want to make sure that that's kind of level there. I'm going to lay my Gingerbread Man on here and trace him. Kind of slow and careful trace, because I printed mine on paper. Probably should have printed it on cardstock, but it would have been a little more stiff. And if you're brave, you could go ahead and glue this down and cut around it. I don't feel like I'm that good of at cutting like that. I would probably mess it up. So I'm going to make him not like that. Oops. And I went like, I just drew my own line there, didn't I? Let's try to stay in line there. Scribble that one out. Okay. Now I'm going to take my craft knife and I'm going to start carving down just with gentle little strokes. And you have to carve down, you know, quite a ways before you get to that bottom area. And what I do is when I get to a place like this, I just remove this whole section here. Let's see, it's still stuck there somewhere. There we go. You can remove a section at a time. You could probably cut this without it being you know, like single, but you're not going to get the same cut. So it's better to put them together. And you're just going to continue to cut and carve all the way around until you have gotten this whole thing cut out. See, and I'm just taking away the parts that are still some paper. I need to put a fresh blade in here, I think. That's part of the problem. This is the little blade. The tip of this is not very sharp. Probably used it too much. If you get a little paper there, you can just nip it. And we're going to sand these edges, so don't worry if it's a little rough. So I want you to continue to carve. I'm going to pause the video, cut this out, and I'll be back when I'm done. Okay? Okay, my little guy's cut out. So now I'm going to take a sanding block and kind of sand off these edges going away from the center, just to kind of even this up a little bit. It does not have to be perfect. A lot of this is going to be covered, but we want to have some smoothness to the surfaces. If you get any of that little paper, just clip it. Some of that paper that's on it. And I know some of you are probably thinking, well, why didn't we use styrofoam? Well, I'm going to tell you why. Because styrofoam, you have to have a certain kind of glue to use styrofoam, because I don't know if you've ever used it or not, but you can actually melt styrofoam with glue. And this has the foam in the middle, but it's protected because it has the paper, and it's just easier to do, to work with this. If there's any loose paper or anything, peel that back a little bit. Or cut that edge, because you do not want this to come apart. Okay, pretty good. It doesn't have to be, like I said, that's all going to be kind of covered up, so we don't have to worry about that. Now I'm taking a paintbrush and some brown paint. I'm using Hazelnut Waverly chalk paint in a matte finish. And I want you to paint all the edges of our cookie and a little bit over onto the front and back like this. Just make sure that that's way, if any of it does show, it just looks like the cookie, because that's what we're trying to achieve here. We want this to look like a thick cookie. We're making this in the same style as we made the little gingerbread house ornament. It's just, it seemed like the tutorial was kind of long on that one. It was a little more, hopefully this one will be a little bit quicker and a little bit not so, maybe not quite as long. And then you're going to let this dry. So I'm going to get this all painted. I'm going to let it dry, and then I will come back to show you the next step. Okay, my little guy's dry. So I want to glue him onto the front of here. Oops, I left my ink open. And I also want to, well, see, before I do that, I think I'll cut out the back. Lay the back, you know, face up like this onto your extra piece of paper. And you want to trace that and cut it out to fit and cover the back of your gingerbread man. Mine's looking a little wonky. I'll try to straighten it up once I cut him out. Try to straighten my lines up a little bit. He's a little, gotta go around that and straighten up the wobbles. If anything hangs over, I can sand it off. I just want it to look finished on the back. Okay, and cut that out and ink it on the back side. Hopefully this video will not be as long. I think the first one was like an hour, and I was designing as I went, and it kind of made it stretch a little bit longer than probably it should have, so hopefully I'm trying to film efficiently and kind of have this in my brain and not waffle around on decisions, just go with it and, you know, not worry about it so much. Get around that little toe. And actually, you know what, I don't think I want to glue the front down yet. I don't think I do. Okay, got the back part cut out. And I'm going to ink that. I'm going to go ahead and glue the back on. I'm going to do some little embellishments for the front before, because I might need to use that piece to trace. I wasn't thinking about that. But you can go ahead and glue your back on so that you've got a completed little back. And we're going to be covering these sides, so don't worry about that. But I'll go ahead and glue that on and set that aside to dry before I go to the next step. And I'm going to dress my little gingerbread up a little bit. He's going to be a little wintry gingerbread. And since he's no longer baking in a warm oven, and he's free to roam, he's a little chilly in the winter weather. So we're going to give him some little winter accessories. I don't know where my little spready card is. I keep losing that thing. Kind of get up any excess glue. There we go, and I'm just going to let that sit aside and do its thing. Okay, for this, probably just take a scrap piece of paper just to draw my little pattern pieces. I'm going to give him some little winter boots. So I'm going to go to about here, right about here on him. So I'm going to trace his little foot and his little leg exactly. And I may reshape the boot a little bit. I don't know if I will. But I want to give him a little boot. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm kind of going right across here. And I'm just tracing his little foot. Whoops. If I don't move him, let me put him back. Tracing his little foot. And it can be slightly larger, which is fine. I want to do the same thing with his hands. I'm going to give him some little mittens. So I'm just going to go and trace the roundish part of his hands, and then maybe I'll go a little past that, just to give it a little cuff. And with this one, give it a little cuff to about there. There we go. And I'm going to kind of just draw that little cuff out. I'm going to give him a little rounded right here, round that off like a cuff. And I'm going to cut the boot up a little bit like this, okay? And these are going to be my pattern pieces. Just by tracing around that, I've made a pair of mittens and a pair of little boots. And I will use those for cutting out some fabric. And I also think I want to give him a little hat and a little scarf. And I'm not going to totally cut those out because I can do that when I'm cutting out the fabric. So let me take another little piece of this paper. I'm going to put his little head on there. And I'm not sure I'm going to give him a hat, but I might give him a hat. So I want to get kind of the shape of his head to about there. And arch that up just slightly. And I can go taller than that, but I don't want to go lower than that. So I may round his hat up a little bit to give him a better hat. Or you could go up and do like a pointy hat. You could do any kind of hat where you could fold it over. So just, you know, however you want to do a hat. I think I'll cut it pointy and then I'll decide from there. That needed to be smushed in a little bit more, my glue on there. Okay, so I have a piece of, this is like a little quilt batting, and then I have a piece of an old sweater. I'm hoping that I can get the hat out of the sweater. I'm going to go ahead and cut around this edge here. And I'm hoping that I can get this band and part of this sweater here. So we'll see. See how that works out. Oh, I need scissors that actually cut fabric. Hang on, those don't. Ooh. Oops. Just knocked off glue, a glue gun, a thing of beads that I had sorted out for this project. Yeah, that happened. Okay, let's try this again. These actually will cut fabric. Get a hold. If you need to pin your thing down, you can. I'm just going to be a rebel and cut. Something like that. Just something of a triangle. I'm going to play with this for a second to see how I like it, because I was kind of thinking I might want it to be where his hat sort of folded over. But I don't know. I may just like it as a beanie. Or even a pointy hat. But I think I'm going to like it better as a beanie. I think I'll just angle it off. And, yeah, I think I like it better as just a little beanie. It makes him look too much like an elf, and I don't want him to look like an elf. Just like a wintry gingerbread. Yeah, I like that little hat. That's cute. Okay, so now I'm going to cut him some mittens and stuff, and I'm going to cut all that out of this quilt batting. You could use flannel, you could use felt, just whatever you have on hand. I'm trying to throw some of this out of my way so I can even see what I'm working on here. Where's my little pattern pieces? That's all I'm really interested in at the moment, are these. And I'm just going to lay them on and do the same thing. I'm just going to cut them out. Just going to hold my paper on there and cut these out. Now I have no idea if my plan is going to work on this or not. He may just be a gingerbread man. He may not have all these cute things. We'll see. But in my mind, this works. Okay, let's see. We have a boot. And let's do another boot. And this would have really been cute, I think, if I I didn't have anything that was specifically a good color that I thought would not be a ravelly type fabric. You know, you want something that's not really going to ravel. And I will have to put some fray check or paint a little bit of glue around the edge of that sweater so it doesn't unravel. But I didn't really have anything. So, you know, it's kind of like use what you have. But I figured I could color these. See, I just think he's going to look kind of winterish. We'll see. This may be a crazy idea. I don't know. Cut some little tiny gloves. Because I sort of thought I might get out some like chalk pastel or something, or some pan pastel, and I thought I might be able to rub some color onto these little mittens. But I don't want him to look like too much of a snowman. I looked over there. I wish I would have had some colored felt, like some pink or the blue felt. I think I would have liked that better. I didn't have any. So think his hat is too arched. Let me cut it down a little bit. I think I arched it too high to make it like a little beanie. Now my thought was that he might be like he is running and he's gonna go decorate the tree. He might have on his snow boots and his mittens. Only thing is, I don't know if I can decorate those mittens. I may have to decorate them with seed beads. I was thinking maybe some embroidery floss, but I think that's going to be too tiny to sew. Oops, turn that mitten around. So he's got little boots and mittens and a little hat. And I want to see, my thought is he's going to be having a candy cane that's probably decorated in some way with the with this, and I thought about maybe having a little ornament dangling from the candy cane, or I'm not sure. He's also going to go on a snowflake. Let me pause for a second, play with this for a second, and come back before I finalize what we're doing. Okay, there's been a little bit of messy play going on here while you were gone. Let me kind of clear this back a little, because I was just trying everything to see what actually worked. I don't want that. I'm trying to get the things I do want, everything else out of the way. Okay, let me show you what I did. I'm going to come in a little bit closer. I made him some little gloves and some boots, and how I colored this was I used this quilt batting. I used a piece of chalk pastel and I rubbed it on here, and then I had some of this pan pastel, and it colors this quilt, this cotton quilt batting. This is the cotton kind, so I get colors out of it. So that's how I achieved the color on here. And I think I want to leave his boots like the off-white color, and maybe blue little mittens, and oops, I'm going to use a little bit of the pink. I'm using some pinking shears to cut a little bit of that. And I'm not sure, I think I'm going to leave the hat cream. I colored one side blue, but I think I might leave his little hat cream. And I may use this teeny tiny pink edge there to give his hat a little edging. He's starting to look kind of girly, but that's okay. He's my snowman. He can look however he wants to. And I'm not sure that I don't want to edge. Do I want to edge the mittens like that too? Because I'm just mixing these colors in here. Got this teeny tiny edge of stuff, and I'm just kind of mixing everything up, and I'm going to have to spray this with like a sealant of some sort, because if not, that may rub off that cotton area. Do I have enough of this left to add on to the boot also? I think I do. Okay, I kind of like that. The more the merrier to finish off the little boots. Like that, like so. And then I was thinking maybe just tipping the scarf in here and then adding something for buttons to give him a cute little look. Oops, let me scoot him back up in camera. There we go. Okay, sorry that was so fiddly, but like I said, all I did was rub pastels on there, and that got, you know, on the cotton batting, and that got everything we needed. So I think I'll go ahead, and my next decision was I kind of wanted him to be like he was running with the candy cane, and I think I want to put it in one hand. So before I glue him down, I'm going to glue the candy cane on underneath so it looks like it's in his hand. So I'm going to do that first. I use a little touch of hot glue. If my glue gun stopped working on me yesterday, then I plugged it in today and it's working fine. It's a little temperamental. There. Now I want to go ahead and hopefully I don't lose all these tiny little parts and pieces. I'm going to go ahead and glue him on there. I wish I hadn't spilt my beads a while ago. That was not good. Let's go ahead and glue him down. Hi, Sophie. My dog is in and out of the studio. I just have the door open since there's not a lot of bugs and stuff out. I can kind of leave it open and get some fresh air. I have a screen, but I hardly ever shut it, which would probably be how birds and lizards and things get in here if I would shut the screen door. Okay, let's glue him on top. And then we're going to do the edges here. I have some white gimp. You can get anything that looks like a gingerbread trim. I'm going to grab that. Oh, my glue is coming out the top. Grab this thing here. Try to erase the glue. I'm using this little gimp here for that. Ooh, I hope I got enough to go around him. That's all she wrote on that. That spool is empty. Okay. I'm just going to start getting glue. Boy, what a mess. Maybe I can spread that down all around his little edges. This is what I hate about this stuff. It just spews out, but when you want it to come out, it doesn't want to come out. But I know that Fabritac will be the best for holding this gimp really well to this foam. I'm going to outline him like he's frosted on the edge. Work from the back since I got to go around that candy cane. I guess I could have waited to glue him on there until after I did this part, but I'm kind of doing the horse before the cart here. Alright, wipe that off, and maybe if I get the lid on, it'll stop some of it while I work. Look at that. This stuff, I probably need to open a new bottle. That's getting stringy. Okay. Now we've kind of got the glue situation under control. I think I'm going to stop and start it right here behind, whoops, wrong way, behind his hand. I'm just going to kind of press that down and go along that contour of his body all the way around so it looks kind of like, popped frosting. What in the world do I have on me? Let me wipe my hands real quick. I don't even know what that must be from those chalk pastels. I must have touched a black one. I'm like, I have something black all over me. It's going to be all over this project. Got on there just a tiny bit. I didn't realize I had anything on my hand. Okay, hopefully I'm not pulling too much out of here, out of the screen. You can go back in once you get it all on there and push it down in all these little areas that need better contact. And I'm actually going to use a little pair of scissors to get down in that little groove there, and I'm going to cut it off right there. Let's see, pull it up and cut it, and then I can stick it back down. There we go. I'll put a little glue on that to make sure this is down really well everywhere. All the little nooks and crannies. Wipe any excess glue. There was just a little bit there. And a little bit there. Okay, I think we've got it. I've got a little, just a little nip of his hand back here is too tall. I'm going to cut that off and I'll re-ink it on the back. There's just a little part of the paper was sticking up a little bit. I'll kind of ink that down where it'll, there we go. Okay. Now we've got him on there. We've got his edging done. We can start glittering him up and embellishing him. I'm trying to decide how I want this one to hang. I'm going to need to put the little hangers in it. So if I want him to be backed by the snowflake, I was thinking maybe let him, I don't want him to hang like that. So probably from the top of his head. Okay, so I'm going to use 2 of these little eye pins again, like this. I'm going to clip them down just slightly because they're a little long. I need about half that size. And, well, I guess it depends. Am I going to do a dangle on him? If I do, it's going to be from his hand. But I want to figure out which, you know, what angle I want him to hang. So I want this to go straight down in his head. And I'm going to stick a little bit of glue there for when I push it down, just a little bit of this clear glue. So it just gives it a little bit of extra hold. And I'm going to think about that dangle from his hand. I don't think it'll have a dangle from the bottom like it had on the other ornament. A little bit much glue. There we go. So he's going to hang like that, and that's good. Okay, we'll let that dry. And while that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and start decorating. The only part of this one is that I'm going to whiten a little bit is going to be a little bit of this right here with my gel pen. You could use some paint, use stickles, use whatever you want to. None of his other stuff is really going to show that much, except for this part right here. I'm just putting dabbing a little bit more paint on there, so it's a little bit more white. Now, this is where it's going to get fun and finicky. I gotta find all my little parts. I've done scooted everything around. Where's all my little parts? Oh gosh, I really did scoot that around. There's a boot. There's a hat. There's a scarf. There's a mitten. Oh, here they are. They stuck to another piece of felt over there, flannel, whatever you call it. Okay, I've got him back together now. I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on his little foot to glue on his boot. And that's this boot here. And I'm going to glue his other boot on. Now your gingerbread doesn't have to be dressed for winter. He doesn't have to look like a ginger snowman. But I want mine to, so yours can be any way you want it to be. Okay, I still got black all over my hands. Let's see, make sure. I think I'm covered now. I think I got it off. I'm going to put a little thing of glue across here to glue on the top portion of his boot. Where is that piece? This must be this one. Okay. And I'm going to put another little glue under that one to make another little area for this little pinked piece that we did with the pinking shears to make his boots look a little maybe elf-like, I guess. Or like baby booties. I don't know. Maybe they look like baby booties. bit here for the, I'm going to assume it's this one. Looks about the right size, yeah. There we go. For our boots. We're going to do the same thing for gloves. Let's see, this is this one. Yes. Making sure I have the right mitten. Put his little mitten on. Put this little mitten on. And I'm going to put the little trim on the edge of the mittens. And this trim on this edge of the mitten. There we go. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on and give him a little hat. And I think I'm going to go with the, let's see, the blue hat with the pink, or the cream hat with the pink. I think I'll just be daring and go blue. This one actually, you know, this would be a cute little baby's first ornament now that I'm seeing it with all the pink and blue. It's getting a little babyish, but that's okay. This is supposed to be a pastel Christmas, which is not at all what I'm having in my house, but it's just what I was in the mood to make. And I'm going to seal that with some fray check so it doesn't, you know, come undone. And I'm also going to, I think I'll use a little hot glue on this one. I'm going to glue a little pinch of this together so I get sort of a little thing like this. Oh, I've got something black in there. And I'm not gluing this on yet, okay? But we've got all that part done. Now I want to look at his buttons. I'm thinking I might want to use some little beads or something. Hang on and let me get some more beads because I dumped mine in the floor. I will be right back. Okay, I was looking around in my stash and I realized I have these tiny little brads that look like buttons, and I had them in the blue and the gray, and I had some other colors but they weren't anything that really matched. But I'm wondering if I can just poke those in there and put a little glue under them. Oh yeah, they're going to poke right in there. And use those for his little buttons. I was going to use seed beads, but I thought, oh, those are cute. Whoops. Go back in there. Okay. I'm going to put a little dot of glue under there and push those down so that he's got little buttons on there. I didn't know I had those. I was just kind of looking around. I was thinking, what do I have actually that, wow, that works like perfect. There, that's really cute. I like it. Super cute. Okay, now we have to decide. I've got that part done. I have a scarf made. I need to decide how he's going to be embellished. I know, like the other one, I had a thing hanging from him. Like, I don't think that would look good with this one unless you centered him on the snowflake. If you centered him on the snowflake and hung something from the snowflake, but I don't want it to look weird. So I'm thinking I want the snowflake like that about there. And what did I do with that holly? I was thinking I wanted some holly on there with him on the candy cane. Like that. And I thought about letting him just be running, holding a little cookie. Just a little cookie. So I think I'll go ahead and glue the holly on. Whoops. Because I can glitter all this at one time. Got my holly on, and I'll glue a little cookie, like he's holding a little cookie. Because I don't think I like anything else that, let's see, I want him to hold it that way. He could be holding a little cookie. What would be cute is to glue a bead on top of his hat. And that would be super cute. And I should have glued this to something like a piece of something, I don't know. But let's see what beads I didn't knock over. It would be cute to have a little something on his hat as like a little pom-pom. I don't have any pom-poms. That bead is too small. Yeah, I wish I had thought. I wonder if I can get that off of there, if it's glued yet. It's not. Okay, I'm gonna glue this down to some cardstock and then put it back on there. Oops. I'm just gonna glue that down. Put that back on there. That'll stiffen that little hat up. I don't have to worry so much about it coming undone. Get some of that excess glue. Cut it out. I don't have to worry about it unraveling as much either. Glad it was still not quite stuck down. Pinking shears. I'll pink this just a little here under this edge where you can see the cardboard. Go ahead and pink that. There we go. That's much better. It's going to be much more stiff. I won't have to worry about his hat coming off or coming unraveled. Yeah, better. Better, better. Okay. And then that way, if I do want to put a more stout bead on there, you know, for his little pom-pom, I can. I was trying to think of what I had. I wonder if I have a bigger gray button. Let me look. Hang on. As luck would have it, I do have one. So, I'm going to just try to bend that down where I can just glue it in. I may have to clip it off a little bit. I wonder how hard this is to clip. Oh, not very. Okay. Because I don't really want to do it, you know, through as a whole. So I will a little bit of glue there and put his little button on top. Except for I wanted it up a little bit more. There. Yeah, I like that. Okay, I think I'll glitter now. So for this part you're going to need some either watered down glue, or I guess I'm not using the ornament. Let's see. That's looking pretty cute just like that, isn't it? I didn't know if I wanted to do something like an ornament off to the side, or let's see, what else have we got? Some gumdrops. Let me look at those big gumdrops right there. Or do we want to do maybe some gumdrops? Oh, the gumdrops are cute. Let's go for gumdrops. Okay, I need to glue these onto something so I can cut them out, and they'll be, that's not going to be enough. Is there enough there? Not enough. Do I have, I've got another piece of this. Let me find it. Hang on. Okay. I'm going to glue the gumdrops on and cut them out real quick and ink them. And then we'll be ready to glitter and finish this off. Don't use the fabric scissors. I'm going to move those out of the way. I have a, if they're nearby, any scissor is game. If it's in my vision, I'll probably use it. So it's not a good thing to leave those here. This one turned out way cuter than I thought it was going to. I thought it was going to be a disaster there for a minute. It just seemed like it was going the wrong way. Trying to get some of this glue. Kind of ink around those edges. I don't like that white cut looking thing. Okay. And with that, I actually think I could go ahead and glue him on here and just glitter around this. Okay, he's going to hang this way. So I'm seeing how I want the snowflake to look behind him, just like that. So I'm going to get that hot glue gun and kind of lift him up and hit that center really good. That solid center part. And hold that down for a second so it adheres. And then I'll go under that one also a little bit with a little bit of glue to kind of seat that to the back of them. Then those gumdrops, where'd they go? My goody gumdrops, I think I'm going to put those down there. So I'll just a little glue across that. Glue on the gumdrops. And we need some watered down glue or some thin glue. If you have just some glue that's thin. In the Ultra, I've got some of this Liquitex that is really liquidy glue. So I'm going to use it in a little brush, and I'm going to use the Ultra Fine Clear Glitter. Need a piece of paper. This will do. Just something to glitter on. That'll do just fine. And we're going to go ahead and glitter this, and I've lost my scarf. That's what I'm looking for in case you see me pondering what's going on over here. Okay, there's my scarf. I guess I'm not going to need any beads for this one. But you know what? We could do a beaded hanger. Let's do that. We'll go ahead and add the beads to this one too. Let me get a little brush. Right here. In my glue. I'm just going to try to get some of this in the, use the lid. And I'm just going to paint over the areas I want glittered. There we go. Are you knocking? What's the matter, Soph? She's over here itching, making a lot of noise. Sorry. And so I'm going to just start painting over the things that we want glittery. And I haven't quite decided yet if if I'm going to glitter the gloves and stuff. I'm going to glitter everything else first, and then I'll go back and look at it and see. So, glitter everything that you want glittered on yours. And I'm going to continue glittering, and I'll come back once I have everything glittered, and we'll move on from there. Okay, I just ended up going a little nuts and crazy and glittering the whole thing because it just looks so cute. So I'm going to glitter his scarf and then use a little dab of hot glue. I'm just going to glitter the front of it. I'm going to put some glitter on his scarf. And where's that lid? Here we go. Just kind of dabbing glue on top of my little scarf here. I figured, well, you know, the glue would help this be stiffer. And I'm just going to dip it in this extra glitter. I'm not going to squirt any more out. There we go. Little glittery scarf. That'll dry clear once it's a little cloudy right now, but it will be clear once it's done. I'm going to move that glitter aside, so maybe I won't dump it out somewhere. Okay. And I'll go ahead and put a little dab of hot glue on here. and arrange my scarf like I want it. And I'm going to kind of kink that scarf up just a little bit and put a dot of glue so it's kind of got some movement to it. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. Just a little bit on the edge of the candy cane. I'm going to put a little bit of that glue and give his scarf a little bit of movement. Whoops. Oops, 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 oops. And I'll get those glue strings out of there once that dries. But there we have our little glittery gingerbread man. He's kind of cute. I love gingerbread man. Okay, so while this dries, let's make a little thing for our hanger for the top. I'm going to pause for 1 second and grab some wire and beads, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm using a piece of plastic garland that I had. These were just something I robbed out of my Christmas decorations, and it was something that came from Dollar Tree that I had taken apart, and it has a hole in 2 parts of the snowflake. So that's going to serve me well as far as, you know, a hanger goes. Need some wire. 26 gauge is a good, easy bendable gauge. This isn't a heavy ornament. Sophie, lay down. Just need a little piece of wire. And I'm going to start out by, let's see, I think I put a piece of paper under here last time so you could kind of see what I was doing. I'm just going to bend my wire down and crisscross it where I've got a loop. I'm going to straighten one of those out. I'm just going to go around it a couple times to make a nice little loop there. Clip off this excess. Pinch that down where there's not anything. And this is going to be on the bottom. I'll put this on with a jump ring to join these right here. So I'm going to build the beads from the bottom up. I'm going to go with a little gold glass seed bead. And then, let's see if I'm going to graduate them. I don't know if I'm going to use those or this one. I kind of like that one better than that one. And I thought about using this glass one. Or I could just use the glass and the blue. I have a smaller pink. Maybe we'll do that. Okay. Pink and a gold. I don't actually want the gold on first. I think I want the pink on first, and I'll just put a gold in between all the colored beads. Pink. We'll tie the white and a gold and a blue. And get the blue on there. Yeah, maybe I just want it like that. And probably a gold on top of that one. Just to give a little. And if it's going to hang from the snowflake, I'm trying to see if I like that pattern or not. I hope I'm in frame to see if it's going to hang from a snowflake at the top. If I like that pattern. Kind of not liking that for some reason. Do I like it better up this way? I'm just seeing if I like it better that way. Maybe I don't want the snowflake on it at all. I thought I did, but now I'm thinking maybe I don't want a snowflake on there at all. unless you put some beads above and below it where it hung like this. But somehow I think that takes away. I think that snowflake's really going to take away from it. And with this, I don't mind this, but I don't like, there's something I'm not liking about it. Let me look at it. I'm just going to do a little restringing and make it a little longer. I need to get another one of these white beads and some gold beads. One of those faceted ones. I think I'll just make it a little longer is all. Where's my, there it is. Okay. So I've got a gold and then the clear facet, then a gold. And I think I'm not going to use that blue. I'm going to use this pink and this blue. And I'm going to put the pink down lower. Oh, can't see the hole in those glass beads. And then put a gold and then the white cracked bead and a gold, which I'm going to need some more gold. And a blue and a gold. I'm just making a longer hanger is all I'm doing. And I need one more of those faceted and one more gold. Okay, I think that maybe is all we need is just a long, I think all that's required of this one is just a long little hanger. I know y'all are like, what are you dawdling about? I don't know. I'm trying to see if that's too much. I'm trying to see, is there such a thing as too much sparkle at Christmas? I don't know. See, on the other one, I had a dangle from the bottom, but I don't like that with this one. So that's why I was trying to think, do I just want to use baker's twine or do I want to do a beaded dangle? Or just simply hang it from the baker's twine and say, oh, he's enough. See, like these, they have the extra dangles and the extra beads. So that's why I was kind of wondering if I wanted extra beads on here. Somehow it just doesn't look right. I don't know what it is to me, but I'm not happy with it. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. If you were going to do this, you would make another loop, wrap it around, join this with a jump ring, and then you could put a hook in the top of it. So I'll go ahead and show you how to do that part, and then I'm gonna reserve that for right now on mine. I'm just gonna hold it like this, wrap this around, pull that down. I'm gonna wrap it around this top bead a few times, whoops, to get a good join. I've got a little loop on the top and a loop on the bottom. We're gonna cut this off. I'm taking too much time here. Need to move along and kind of bend that little end down there. Now all you have to do is open a jump ring and put it on here and then insert a hook into the top of this. I'm going to reserve that right now, and I'll revisit it later to see if that's what I want to do or if I just want to string baker's twine in there. So that is the second ornament in our Jolly Gingerbread Man kit. You know, Beyond the Junk Journal. I hope you've enjoyed him. I have one more little carved thing that we're going to make, and then we're actually going to start working with the kit as a paper craft. So I hope you've enjoyed this segment. I will see you around the studio, and thanks for joining me.